Hello again, and welcome to Series in Review. I just watched Superman 2025, and it was terrific, and not just because of Mr. Terrific, though he was, as they say, terrific. I'll stop now. Before getting into the thick of things, I will say this. If all you needed was one more person telling you to go see this film if you can, go see this film if you can. There's no editor for this because copyright means using clips is a waste of time, but that means you get more of this adorable face. Anyway, as always, thanks to my wonderful patrons. Now let's begin. Superman 2025 is a tour de force with everything from the acting to the cinematography to the dialogue, CG, costumes, writing, and as usual with James Gunn, music being fantastic. It is very much a thematically powerful piece, both in quiet and background parts, as well as the big and dramatic moments, knowing exactly when to pick up the pace or slow down. Genuinely, I cannot think of a moment in this film where I was not near utterly riveted. Now, I'll do a quick aside to address the controversy regarding Clark's birth parents. Spoilers ahead. I see why this bugs people, and I am not over the moon about it, as it does low-key stagger the immigrant meta-themes of the film. But it doesn't get to me as much as others because Clark's birth parents don't need to be saintly and good-hearted in my eyes for Clark to work as a character. And given the thesis statement on the nature of Superman's humanity, I can see what they were going for with it. Okay, back to praise. Speaking of parents, I adore Ma and Pa Kent. The tribute they got at the end of the film genuinely made me tear up. They are this perfect blend of devastatingly sweet, incredible at rolling with the punches, and the exact sort of people I could see raising Clark. The Daily Planet crew were a joy, for while most only had small parts to play, everyone had a bold and clear personality, and their sheer commitment to the bit, conspiracy boarding while the city is being split in half, was freaking great, and I love that they meaningfully contributed to the story's resolution. That is to say, while this was a Superman film, it was not only about Superman. And speaking of other contributions, the Justice Gang, now featuring Metamorpho, were a treat. I was genuinely worried they'd be antagonists or purely boring corporate heroes who exist solely to be inspired by Superman, but while they are influenced by Clark, they are not nearly so one note. As with everyone else, everyone has great personalities and dynamics. They are clearly genuine heroes in possession of their own agency, as well as pre-existing histories with Superman that let them be far more than mere cameos. Mr. Terrific was the obvious standout, as easily the coolest and smartest person in the entire film, along with honestly probably qualifying as a low-key Tsundere, which is charming. Metamorpho's role was small, but God was it impactful, especially in conjunction with Malik Ali, the actually sung quiet hero of the film. I adored how in this story it genuinely feels like there are no small parts and everyone's humanity is acknowledged and given weight. Even characters who normally get some sort of spiteful send-off, such as the prisoners who tried to rat on Superman and Metamorpho, weren't disregarded or dehumanized, which very much fits with the underlying theme of the film, the importance of humanity and human decency, and it pushing back against dehumanization. That same dehumanization used by the villains as a pretext to both justify treating Clark as a threat and make harming him socially acceptable. The fact the villains both so casually dehumanize anyone who isn't with them, as seen with the prisoners and Black Hole, but even to a degree themselves, with Angela Spica claiming to have sacrificed her humanity for the sole purpose of killing Superman, and Luthor, for all his ego about humanity, clearly views himself as above all of them. Aside, but this is peak business Luthor, a man who is just smart enough to be dangerous, just petty enough to cause this much damage, and not a bit more. He isn't given any undue gravitas, which I love. Now let's cap off with the supers themselves. I love the cameo with Kara at the end. Given her entire society died, she is more than owed a few crash outs. Crypto the Superdog was adorable and hilarious. I adore the explanation for why the faithful and super intelligent Hound is actually a very ill-behaved dog while still being a sweetie. Clark is of course brilliant. Perfect casting, presentation and performance. I think my favourite part is, unsurprisingly, how human they made him. He's an incredibly good-hearted person, but he's not divinely good. Clark doesn't always think things through. He can get upset, become despondent, and best of all, be in need of help. This isn't a Superman who could solve every problem in the world, but doesn't just because the plot says so. He can be all of that, so it feels genuine when he says he screws up and is human, while also still 100% being the guy who tries to protect even giant monsters and takes time to save small animals during battle. Is it weird I can imagine a universe where Clark was the falafel vendor and Malik Ali was Superman? Finally, I love how this takes place in a world with established heroes and lore. It makes everything feel so much richer and helps Superman's story feel both important, but not in a way that makes the world revolve around him or the setting itself feel small. It really just helps everything hang together incredibly naturally, which really helped sell the film to me. Just fantastic work all around, really. 10 out of 10. Now then, I have more videos coming up soon with help of my new editor, Cylon B. But for now, thanks for tuning in.